Hello, and welcome to Developmental English for fall of 2024. I'm your professor, Robert Stroop, and I just wanted to have a short little video highlighting some things about the course and welcoming you to the course itself. So I'm excited to have you, excited to have all of you. A lot of you are beginning your college careers or coming back to education after being away from it. Maybe you graduated high school a while ago, or maybe you just are jumping into it. And so I'm excited to have all of you here. Now, you're taking this as an online course. It is not fully self-paced, which means that there is an expectation that you log in and do assignments weekly, and we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. But it is asynchronous. So that does mean that you can pick any day of the week that works for you to work on your assignments. And so that way, for those of us who work and want to take courses, it's the perfect opportunity for you to do that. All of your assignments open up Mondays. It says 9 a.m., but I actually like to open them a little bit earlier than that. Or usually right when midnight ticks over, I will have the assignments open. And while your assignments usually are due before that Monday rolls around again, so that would be like Sunday at midnight, a lot of times I allow the bleed over into the Monday. Now, this particular course actually begins on a Wednesday, I believe, because the 23rd, the 23rd is a Wednesday. And so for the first week of class, your assignments window is going to be extended into that Wednesday to make sure that you have a full week to be fair to you. But the subsequent week, week two's material, is going to open up the following Monday. Okay, so you actually, for the first week, have a short week, but I just need to make sure that we get through all of the content. Speaking of which, this is an 8-week course. It's an 8-week course, which means that everything is going to be very condensed. You don't have necessarily less work than a full-length semester-long course. We're just squishing it down. And so if we come down here to the bottom right here, I try to give you some kind of idea here of how everything is going to look in terms of your big highlights of what's going to be due each week. Okay, it is going to be kind of compact. You can see that, like, for example, on week 2, you end up having 7 quizzes there, as well as a graphic organizer and a discussion for that week. Okay, now that sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's doable, all right? It's not overly like, okay, every week you're going to be writing an essay or anything like that. I just have to have things spaced out so that, for example, your major assignment for this course is going to be writing a singular essay. It's a narrative essay. And we're going to be doing it in pieces over the course of about 6 weeks. So that's the majority of the course, which means we have to get on it right away. But I do it that way so I can give you feedback between each week. Each lecture, so I record the lectures and post them, so there's not like a specific time that you have to log in and see them. But each lecture for the chapters are about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what the chapter is. Most of them are kind of right in the middle of that, 45, 55 minutes. So each week you can expect about 2 hours of lecture. I do not provide lectures for the grammar portions of the course. I do give you some outside additional support if you need it, and you can always reach out to me as well. but I feel like the textbook does an adequate job of that, giving you some practice and everything. A few other highlights here, just kind of going through the syllabus a little bit, that really we are focused on your vocabulary acquisition and your writing skills. We're getting you ready to read and write at the college level. And so, really, it's just, hey, when you're reading, how do you annotate? And hey, when we're doing formal writing, what do we need to do so that we can be successful there? The textbook is very important to this course. I know that sometimes in college, it's good to wait and see whether the professor is actually going to use the textbook or not. I'm going to tell you that we use the textbook every week. All of the grammar practice, for example, is in the textbook. And while I provide slides over the chapters as kind of like a summary or recap, there are exercises that I encourage you to do that are also in the textbook, and I reference the textbook and writings in the textbook quite a bit. There are a couple of ways to get it. I have links in the syllabus. I'm just letting you know that you need to have access to the textbook, even if that means going to the library. The Kingwood Library is a great place to go and check one out, for example. Your grades in this course are broken down here, but really what I'm going to tell you is that you have a lot of quizzes. I divide up the chapter quizzes from the grammar quizzes. For chapter quizzes, you only get one attempt typically. And for grammar quizzes, I give you 2 attempts. Just in case you bomb one, it gives you a chance to say, oh, I need to go back and study that grammar concept and try again. A large portion of your score in this class are going to be from your narrative essay and your vocabulary diary, and those are going to be assignments. So see, like if you don't do any of those and you did perfectly on everything else, that would get you to a 70 on the nose. But you're going to make a mistake somewhere along the way. You're also going to have weekly discussion posts, and those are worth 15% of your grade. For all of your discussion posts, you have to respond to your classmates, at least 2 of them. Please do that. Discussion posts are relatively easy grades, so if you're wanting to boost your grade, please just make note of that and follow the directions, okay? Most people get nickeled and dimed in this course when they're losing points from just simple things like, oh, I didn't respond to 2 discussion posts, or oh, I didn't read the directions of this assignment and it has a sentence length requirement and I didn't meet that. Or maybe I went over it and gave you a whole paper when you wanted a paragraph, okay? All those things will hurt you. Make sure that you are logging into the class frequently. While I try to put assignments out at the same time every week, my feedback to you is not necessarily going to come on a certain day, and I try to give you feedback on all your assignments every week, but I can't make a commitment or a promise for a particular day. It just depends on my schedule as well. Also, please make sure that you don't get dropped from the course. You really need to make sure that you're participating in everything. Okay? All right. So, notice late work. No late or makeup work is accepted in this course. Just because you have a problem, it may not be like a issue for me or anything. If you're having problems, you need to reach out, okay? But I may just be unable to help you. It just depends. But I would rather you reach out and then possibly get positive feedback rather than not say anything and then just drown in the course. The sooner you get with me, the better and the more likely I am to help you. You are going to have to use Turnitin for this course. It's built into the course. You don't really need to know anything other than I take plagiarism very, very seriously, and that includes the use of AI. I have not had students yet run afoul of me, but my warning for you is that I've been an English teacher for quite some time. I can tell the difference between the two. Don't put yourself in a position where I am even questioning whether the work is yours or not. I will fail you in a heartbeat. And we just don't want to get into that situation, okay? I'm here to help you. I'm here to make sure you get through this class and you feel good about it. So please don't waste both of our times by doing anything like that. Right? The last thing to say is that this content down here are not 100% set in stone. If something comes up, see it says it's subject to change right there. If something comes up, I can't promise that this is the way it's going to be, but this is what I want it to look like, okay? So reference this to kind of get a feeling of how busy each week is going to be, but just know that something may shift one way or another depending on how you guys are doing or other things in the course. Right? So it's going to seem like a lot, but just be prepared to jump in and get to it, and I think everything will work out from there. I look forward to having you in my class, like I said, and I would advise to just jump in and introduce yourself on the discussion board and then go from there. All right?